Um, Jerry is an IT professional with 20 years experience in the public and private sectors. He has masters in information technology and management advanced. Throughout his IT career, he successfully made processes more streamlined and effective. In the private sector, Jerry worked with stakeholders in a production environment to decrease downtime. In the public sector, he became a voting member in the Florida Department of Health Information Technology Standards work groups, was elected co-chair, and became chair of ITSW in 2013. Good morning, Jerry. Welcome.
Good morning, Tammy. Thank you for the nice introduction and welcome everybody. We'll go ahead and start with this PowerPoint. Thank you so much for everybody being here. Let me try to get start here. All right, so let's get started. This talk is on anti-software and anti-spyware. Let me try to move this window. There we go. All right. So the first thing is, what are viruses? Viruses and spyware come under the general classification of malware. We can define computer virus as a type of malicious code or program written to alter the way a computer operates and is designed to spread from one computer to another. A virus operates by inserting or attaching itself to a legitimate program or document that supports macros in order to execute its code. In the process, a virus has the potential to cause unexpected or damaging effects, such as harming the system software by corrupting or destroying data. Okay, so we have a little video on what is a virus here from Norton. Tammy, we should be able to hear this. Let me know if you can't.
Computer virus anyway. The definition of a computer virus is a malicious piece of software or malware that once inside your computer replicates and infects other computers in your network, stealing passwords or data, logging keystrokes, corrupting files, spamming your contacts, or even taking over your machine. Like a cold that you just can't shake, computer viruses are definitely something you want to avoid. Find out how to protect against them, because evolving threats demand evolving protection.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys could hear that, right?
Yes, we can hear that.
All right, great. Okay. All right, let me get out of here. All right, so what is spyware? Spyware is a form of malware that hides on your device, monitors your activity, and steals sensitive information like bank details and passwords. All right, so we have another little video on from YouTube on spyware.
Spyware is software that is designed to gather data from your device. It can communicate your personal and confidential information to a user who has malicious intent. As long as you're using a device connected to the internet, you are in danger of spyware infestation. Hackers can get spyware onto your device in many ways, but these four are the most common. Firstly, spyware can penetrate your device in the form of a Trojan, which is a type of malware that is disguised as legitimate software. Hackers use the Trojan in a sneaky process called social engineering, which is a method into tricking users to load and execute the virus. Secondly, spyware can infect your device when you interact with legitimate programs. This type of spyware infection can happen on three types of programs: adware, pornware, and riskware. Specifically, hackers can exploit user interactions with advertisements, adult material content, and various third-party program downloads to gain access to devices. Thirdly, hackers can exploit and compromise tracking cookies, which is a common practice many legitimate websites employ. Finally, hackers can get spyware onto your device through system monitors that are designed to monitor computer activity and performance. Once spyware gets onto your device, it can cause very nasty problems. It can communicate your personal and confidential information to the attacker, with information to valuable things like your email activity, passwords, social media accounts, credit card information, and purchase history. Your online identity is at high risk of being stolen and imitated. The spyware can also corrupt and compromise your device's performance. It can soak up your device's resources, making it run slowly, tag in between applications, crash, and overheat. Furthermore, the spyware can manipulate search results and serve you potentially harmful and fraudulent websites, which may trick you into clicking into more harm and dangerous viruses. A good first layer of protection is prevention through safe internet browsing practice, like not clicking on unexpected links in emails or entering suspicious websites. However, not downloading a program and never clicking on an email attachment is not always an option. That's where a trusted internet security solution will give you peace of mind. It will provide early detection and proactive protection. Additionally, for those users already infected with spyware viruses, there are spyware removal tools that will assist in identifying and removing them.
Alrighty, let's proceed. Okay, so how do we combat viruses and spyware? As stated earlier, viruses and spyware come under the classification of malware. The definition of malware is software that is specifically designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to a computer system. So what are the solutions to deal with malware? Have a good antivirus program and run regular updates on your operating system, short for OS. All right, so we now have a little video on malware.
Viruses, worms, Trojans, and bots are all part of a class of software called malware. The overwhelming majority of malware is created to make money illegally, often by stealing sensitive and confidential information from victims' computers and mobile devices. Malware can also be used for cyber vandalism, cyber espionage, hacktivism, cyber warfare, and various other reasons. Malware can make entry onto your computer via questionable file downloads, visiting infected websites, or through email containing a seemingly benign link or attachment. Common types of malware. Viruses. Almost all viruses are attached to an executable file, which means the virus may exist on a system but will not spread until a user opens the infected program. Viruses often originate on the internet and spread when downloading a file infected with a virus, peer-to-peer file sharing, or email attachment. Trojan. A Trojan is a harmful piece of software that looks legitimate. Users are typically tricked into leading and executing it on their systems. Trojans can not only steal your sensitive data, they can also give cyber crooks access to your system. Trojans are employed to gain access to your computer's financial and personal information. Ransomware. Ransomware holds your PC hostage and demands money. It locks up your computer, threatening to destroy data, demanding ransom or a payment for release of your data, files, or to regain the ability to use your computer again. Spyware. Spyware secretly gathers private information about the user activity, such as internet usage, and logs keystrokes via the process of keylogging to steal passwords and other sensitive data. Worms. Worms can replicate themselves and infect multiple computers on a network, causing major damage. Network worms often use computer networks to spread, slowing down traffic and relying on security failures such as outdated operating systems and no antivirus programs installed. In contrast, viruses require the spreading of an infected host file. Worms are a standalone software and do not require a host or human help to spread. The best way to protect your system from malware is to keep your operating system clean by downloading regular patches, updates, and making sure that your computer is protected by the latest antivirus software from a trusted vendor.
Okay, and I'm not trying to sell you on that antivirus capacity. They just have some really good videos. Let's go to the next slide here. Okay, how do we protect ourselves? Have a good antivirus program and run regular scans. For the most part, antivirus and anti-malware mean the same thing. They both refer to software designed to detect, protect against, and remove malicious software. Make sure the operating system OS you are using on your device is getting updates and they are being installed. This is one of the most overlooked issues with computers. You can have your antivirus system up to date and you're running regular scans, but if your OS does not have its updates, you're in danger of being hacked. All right, and ransomware, nobody wants to get that message. A lot of times you'll get a skull and bones, other things. And really the only way around that is to pay for the key to get your system back. Although if you were diligent in doing full backups of your system, you could basically do a restore and basically restore all of your data. All right, so we have another little video on ransomware here.
You log onto your computer just like you do every day, only to see your screen locked and device unable to boot up. A message demanding money or bitcoins appears instead. It's the moment that every computer or mobile device user dreads: ransomware. Ransomware is a form of malicious software or malware, which restricts access to your computer or mobile device or encrypts data until you pay a ransom in exchange for accessing your device or data again. One typical example of ransomware is called Deadcryptor, which locks your devices and files until you're forced to pay a ransom. The payment that this malware demands is 2 bitcoins, which is more than $1,000. This form of cyber blackmail is one of the most dangerous forms of malware today, and one that's spreading rapidly worldwide. The number of users infected with ransomware keeps growing, along with continued increases in ransomware modifications, making it a constantly evolving threat. 2 forms of ransomware are currently the most widely used around the world: locker and crypto ransomware. Locker ransomware locks you out of basic computer functions, forcing you to pay a ransom to regain control. Crypto ransomware, on the other hand, encrypts sensitive data like documents and important files, threatening to destroy them unless you pay a fee. The 3 main ways ransomware can infect your computer is through spam, spear phishing, and watering hole attacks. Scareware tactics are also used to spread ransomware by creating fake software or messages purporting to be from a legitimate source, but actually demand that you pay a ransom to regain control of your computer. As dangerous as ransomware is, you're not helpless against it. It's important to know how to recognize how ransomware is spread, and the defensive measures you can take to stop it before it becomes a serious problem. Avoid phishing scams that spread ransomware by not opening any suspicious emails or links, and also avoid visiting any suspicious websites that may contain ransomware. Know how to recognize scareware tactics by cyber criminals too. Be sure to back up your computer or mobile device and always use up-to-date internet security software equipped with specific anti-ransomware technologies. Above all, never pay a ransom, as it only emboldens the cyber criminals behind these scams. Ransomware is a serious threat that can affect you and all computer and mobile device users. But by knowing how to avoid it and by using up-to-date security software, you can stay safe. Do your part by staying vigilant and investing in trusted security software today.
Okay. Let's proceed to the next slide. Okay, this is a very good video from Microsoft on updates.
Hi, I'm Dimple Arya from the Windows Update Release team. I'm sure you've seen notifications on your PC suggesting that you install Windows security updates to keep our computers safe from any security threats. Since no software is perfect, it sometimes has issues that bad guys look for and attack with malicious software called malware or viruses. These could make your computer stop working, make it send spam, or worse, let people steal personal information such as your passwords or credit card numbers. Windows security updates address these vulnerabilities to help prevent attacks. To keep you and your PC safe, your computer needs these updates. Fortunately, Microsoft automatically delivers and installs security updates to your PC every second Tuesday of the month, and it is called Patch Tuesday. You don't have to do anything but make sure the setting for Windows Update is turned on. To confirm, on your computer, go to Settings, click on Update and Security, then Windows Update, advanced options, and select the right options for you. Another big question people have is, do I always have to install Windows security updates? The answer is yes. Install the updates to protect your computer from attacks and viruses. Unfortunately, the innovation speed of malware and virus is extremely fast, so new attacks and vulnerabilities keep coming up. But we keep creating fixes to safeguard your PCs every month. So, to make use of the latest security fixes, you have to install new updates every month. The good news is that once you have the option set to download these updates, you don't have to do anything manually. Next question you might have is, do I have to install updates even if I'm already using antivirus software? It's a good question, but yes, install the updates because they protect your PC from different types of attacks. Antivirus doesn't protect against software vulnerabilities. Windows security updates do. Also, antivirus is most effective if all the vulnerabilities are fixed. You might say, I haven't installed updates before, but my computer has never been attacked. Should I install the monthly Windows security updates? The answer is yes. Again, you need to install the updates because you might have a vulnerability that you did not notice. Sometimes, attackers use people's computers to secretly send spam or attack messages. It is best to keep the bad guys out. Computers running Windows operating systems come with Windows Update turned on by default. But if you want to be sure, go to Settings and open Updates and Security option. While you're there, you can choose to set your PC to install updates at a certain time of day, so updates don't interrupt your work. Hope this video helps to answer security update questions you might have. The current version of Windows 10 provides the most up-to-date security technology. To keep your computer as secure as possible, always install the Windows security updates. Thank you for watching.
Okay, so tips on dealing with malware. Measures for securing computers against computer viruses. 8 tips to protect your computer from viruses and malware. Keep your software up to date. Don't click on links with emails. Use antivirus software. Back up your computer. Use a strong password. Use a firewall. Minimize downloads and use a pop-up blocker. Okay, and there's my references. And we come to the question. So I welcome any questions. Tammy will field the questions and I will answer any questions you have. I know we went through a lot of material. Some terms you guys probably have never heard before, but I'm willing to discuss it.
Okay, Jerry, thank you for that great presentation. At the moment, it looks like we do not have any questions in the chat box.
Okay, okay. Well, one of the things I'd wanted to emphasize is, again, I think the last video is to make sure that you have a current antivirus and you're doing scans, and whether you have Windows 10 or you have a Mac or you have Linux, to make sure you have the current operating system that is supported where you can get the security updates. Because even though you have a current antivirus, if you're not getting the updates for the operating system, hackers can get into your system, whether you have a current antivirus or not. A lot of times with companies, with Microsoft, companies are not ready to go to the next, especially with server, to go to the next version of server because of their software. And Microsoft will provide security updates to them for a good amount of money. They have to pay to get those security updates. There's probably some companies out there that are still using XP on some machines because they can't get away from XP because of certain conditions with the software they're using. So they pay Microsoft for security updates for XP, different versions of server, so on and so forth.
Well, Jerry, if there's no questions, I'd like to ask one.
Sure.
So recently I had received I'm not sure if this is your area or not, but recently I received a text message on my cell phone, and it was from one of the shipping companies, and it had said something to the tune of um, my shipping items had changed. The process had changed, and it wanted me to click on a link for further information. And so I wasn't sure about that, so I didn't click on it. And I was watching the news a little bit later on, and sure enough, there was a story on the news saying that several people had received that text message about their shipping. So, hackers are very good at disguising their acts. And without looking up every little thing that you get, emails or text messages, what would be your tip to, one, save time, I guess, and two, are there any tips that you could give us for not selecting and becoming a victim?
Yeah, that's hard. With the shipping thing, first thing is, are you expecting something? That's, because I get a lot of stuff from Amazon, books, study material. And, if I'm getting some text from Amazon, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my computer out and go to the Amazon website. Okay. And I'm going to look under orders, and I'm going to look and see, okay, do I have any outstanding orders? What's the tracking notice from that Amazon site on my computer? If I go to www.amazon.com, I am secure. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check and see if I have any orders and if there's any problems with them. And if there was, I basically call the help desk at Amazon. I would not respond to basically a text on a phone, because it's too dangerous, and it's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in. And a lot of companies, and I think FSCJ uses it too, to guard. A lot of that is called phishing, PHISING. I think FSCJ will use it too, where they'll send out a notice to try to educate their employees, say, click here, for such and such, and it's bogus. And if they click on it, basically they're going to get some training in cyber, a little bit of training in security, not to click on any link that they get. And that's how companies are starting to protect themselves, to educate the users. You have to really use discretion on any email you get. And like I say, with me, most of the stuff I order is going to be from Amazon. If I get some text from Amazon, I'm going to get my computer out and I'm going to Amazon and go to my account, and I'm going to look under tracking or orders and see, okay, what is out there? What is outstanding? Do I need to update anything? Do I need to call somebody? I think there was a scam going on from Amazon for a while ago about, and I got the text about free earbuds. I don't know what happened if you actually accessed it. I'm sure they would have stole some kind of information. So yes, especially anything that you won something, you have to be very suspicious. Odds are it's not true. Okay, unfortunately. And so that's one of the things that I would be really aware of. If you get this message, hey, you want a gift card or this or that, odds are it's not true. Okay. And yeah, it can be time consuming. So if anybody else, any other questions? Tammy, that was a great question. Any other questions?
There are not any other questions. However, I'd like to make a statement too. I like what FSCJ is doing. Prior to logging on to this Zoom, there was a pop-up window that asked me if I believed that this was a good link, I guess part of a training session, and I answered correctly. But those are nice to see.
Yes.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I'm glad FSCJ is using that, and a lot of companies I have in the past work for that. And what happens is, if you didn't select the right answer, you might have been directed to get a little bit of training so you'd be better aware the next time. But you did very well, and you didn't need that training, so that was great. I'll bring out a term called social engineering. A lot of people haven't heard about it. And basically, it's with IT, everybody thinks, hackers are hacking into things, this and that, and that's true. but also hackers can get information by calling a help desk and trying to impersonate a CEO or CIO and basically intimidating the help desk person to change the password of the account on the CEO or CIO so they can get access to it. It happens all the time. There's been instances where somebody has actually went into a building, got them to make an ID card for a prominent executive and then go from there. It happens all the time. And that is referred to as social engineering.
I don't see any other questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to talk to us about?
Well, using due diligence, like I say on the other session, people are asking me about what kind of antivirus to buy, and it changes all the time. 1 year, company might be really good. A lot of times it's not that they're bad on picking up viruses. A lot of times they're sluggish and they're slow and they can bog your system down. So I would tell everybody to basically do searches on the different antivirus, what's the best antivirus for 2021, and then research it, see what people say about it, different labs test it, and see what is the best one and you know, see if you can get a good price on it. I know Amazon has some good deals buying antivirus directly from them, and they'll have reviews on the site too. I think I bought my last antivirus, I think, from Amazon. So I would do that, and I would make sure that you're getting your updates on your computer, regardless of what operating system you have. And if you see that notice, hey, you need to reboot your computer so the installed updates can take effect, please don't hesitate on that. Go ahead and get that done. Another thing I'll say is, you know, there's reasons an update might not get installed. A lot of people will let their C drive fill up. And if that C drive gets filled up, the update won't be able to install. So you'd have to go into the C drive and you know, get rid of some files, do a disk cleanup so that the file can, program can install. So those are basically some things to look at. And I would encourage everybody to, you know, to investigate security. Feel free to send me an email if you have any questions. You know, we live in a very scary world nowadays. There's been a lot of hospitals and other cities that have been hit by ransomware, and unfortunately, they had to pay, or they made the choice to pay because they didn't think they could get that data back. There's ways to, even if you do get hit by ransomware, if companies are doing a full backup every day, if they get hit by ransomware, or you're doing a full backup on your computer yourself and you get hit by ransomware, you have the option to do a restore and basically reformat your disk, which will wipe out the ransomware, and then reinstall, and you're good to go. So there's some things to look at there. You can also use things like, you know, Dropbox, and basically make sure that all your important files are on there in case you get hit by ransomware. So there are things that you can do. And for the most part, it's not recommended that you pay ransomware, but like I say, some hospitals, some cities got themselves in a real pickle where they had to have this data back. They didn't have a current backup of it, and they paid the ransomware. And most times, these criminals will give you the encryption key to get your data back because they want it out there in the general public that if you pay, you'll get your data back. So it's to their advantage for you to get your data back. Now, unfortunately, once they get in there and you get your data back, they probably have a hold of some of your data. They got it, and they're going to do something else with it. So it's kind of scary stuff.
Well, Jerry, I don't see any new questions. How about we go over a couple of the old questions from the first session for those?
Yeah, that sounds great. that
Okay,
sounds great.
so one of the questions that we received in the first chat was, should we use more than one antivirus software on our devices?
I would recommend no. Back in the old days, two antiviruses, and I did this once, will basically corrupt your system files. Nowadays, I think if you try to install two, one of them will say, okay, you already have one on here. Do you want to uninstall it? So it's probably not going to let you do it. But you can do install an antivirus, and then you can also install a product like Malwarebytes. You can do that. Like I say, most systems are smart enough that they're not going to let you do something that's going to destroy your system. Malwarebytes is very good, but I'd also recommend an antivirus. And I try to stay away from the free ones. They're not going to give you all the good stuff that the paid ones are. So it's better to pay a little bit of money to get a paid product than to go ahead and just pick a free antivirus. That's my suggestion. Now, I think Malwarebytes does come with a free trial period. So if you think you have some malware, you can download it and run it for free, I think, unless that's changed.
Okay, do you have a preferred antivirus program?
Again, what I would do is they change all the time. And not so much that they're not good. A lot of them will bog your system down, make it really slow. So I would suggest do a search on best antiviruses for 2021. Do some research on it and go from there, see suggested prices. You know, for the most part, they're all good. Some are going to be slower than others. Some have the ability to get rid of what we call a rootkit. That is something that a hacker will install on your system. Make sure that it has the ability to find rootkits and get rid of them. Probably most of them will, but I would verify that. So that would be my advice. And if you want to go ahead and have Malwarebytes on the side, that's a really good combination.
All right, how about antivirus software on Apple devices?
Yes, I would suggest that. Macintosh does get hit, maybe not as much as PCs, but it is possible. Many years ago, I worked at a place that a worm can self-replicate, not like a virus. Something's got to be done to initiate a virus to activate. Worms do not. They got one worm on one Mac, and it went through the network and infected every Macintosh on our network. Didn't take much to get it off, but it did do that. So yes, Apple can be infected. And again, your updates, right? Apple is going to have updates too. So make sure you get your updates.
Okay, what do you think about WebRoot?
That I think it is pretty good what I've read in the past. Again, I would do research on that because these products change all the time. So I would definitely do some research on that, see what people say. Because like I say, it's hard to keep up with these products. They're constantly changing.
Is there any true safety benefit to using a VPN while browsing on the internet?
Yes, and most companies, especially with all the remote work going on now, they want you to VPN into their network because it protects them. And it protects you from hackers finding out your identity because it's hiding your IP from people spying on you and a variety of other things. So yes, a VPN is very good. You can check and see if some antiviruses come with it. Again, I would stay away from the free VPNs because they're not going to have all the capabilities. But yes, a virtual private network is very good, and I would highly suggest that.
All right, we have somebody that says they work in cybersecurity and specifically deal with ransomware along with other threats. He's finding that the user training is a must amongst small business. Would you recommend using any other tools over KnowBe4 to facilitate phishing training?
Yes, I know. I don't know if it's better than KnowBe4, but InfoSec. And anybody can join up, I think, for a free 7-day trial. And they've got a ton of certification stuff, training stuff, posters. I would suggest that they check out InfoSec. That's INFOSEC. Just Google InfoSec and select the safe link to get there. So I would definitely select InfoSec. And as time goes on, there'll probably be a lot more that hit the scene. There's probably a lot more out there. But that's the big one that I know now.
Okay, we don't have any other questions. I believe this last remark that I see here was from a question that I had presented about the blue screen of death. I've seen on laptops and on desktops the blue screen of death, and I was asking, should you allow it to continue what it's doing or shut it off immediately as soon as you see the blue screen?
Yeah, I would make sure it's plugged in. You're probably going to have to reboot it. I think I probably misquoted that the last time. If you get the blue screen of death, I don't think it's going to go any further. So make sure it's plugged in, and then basically reboot it. Yeah, I misquoted on the last time. If it gets the blue screen of death, it's not going to go. It's probably not going to go any further. So yeah, I would make sure it's plugged in. On any updates, when you're doing any updates on your computers, always make sure it's plugged in. It's got power. You don't want it to basically lose power as it's doing an update. That can cause all kinds of trouble. And then yes, I misquoted on that last one. Go ahead and definitely reboot because it's not going to go any further.
Okay, that's good to know.
All right. Well, like I say, we probably still have a few minutes if anybody has any questions. The world of security is really big. Things change all the time. So if you have any questions, I'm here. I know 60 Minutes, I always watch 60 Minutes. They have a lot of good talks on cybersecurity. They went over the SolarWinds hack. And I think President Biden is starting to, he's actually done sanctions against Russia for the SolarWinds hack. I've used the SolarWinds product. It's a very good product. But like anything else, it's, it can be hacked. And the whole thing is, nothing is unhackable. If it's plugged into a network somewhere, it's hackable. The only thing you can do is try to have all your security stuff in place. So if you do get hacked, the damage is minimal. That's the best you can do. Nobody's going to completely stop hackers from getting in a system if they want to. The good thing about being a homeowner or just a regular person, odds are nobody is targeting you personally to get into your system. But they are going to target companies and whatnot. So if you do your antivirus and your OS updates, your backups, you should be in pretty good shape. But again, anything is hackable.
Okay, I don't see any more questions. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
No, that should about cover it. Like I say, it's I know I've said this many times. Make sure that you get a good antivirus. I would throw in there, yes, get a good VPN. Some of the antiviruses come with a VPN. Again, do due diligence and research. There's a ton of companies out there that does research. One is CNET. It's just C as in cat, N as in Nancy, E as in Ernie, and T as in Tiger, just CNET.com. They do a ton of research on software, hardware, laptops, desktops, monitors, you name it. And I've used them over the years. You can do that to do some of your research. Of course, there's Consumer Reports to look at the different options that are out there for you. and make sure have some kind of backup program in case you do get hit or your computer dies. You know, it's always possible that your hard drive might fail, right? So you need to you want to keep your data back, right? So, you know, there's Dropbox. You could back your stuff up to an external hard drive. Just do something so that you have another copy of it.
Okay, I did see the screen pop up a little window up there that said we have 5 minutes before going back to the main session. So if there's anything else that anybody has to say or questions, we have 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Tammy. That was great going through all those questions again. Thank you. And sorry about that blue screen of death. I misquoted on that one. Yeah, once you get that, you're not going anywhere. So, yeah.
Well, Jerry, I want to say thank you for your presentation today and all your great information that we provided. It is a lot to take in for somebody that's, you know, not really familiar with the spyware, and it's a lot to learn to remain
yes,
safe
it is.
out from out there.
Yes, it is. And thank you, Tammy, for the introduction and all the great work you did. And I really appreciate it. Good teamwork.
No problem. Thank you, everybody who selected our breakout room today. If you do have any questions that you think of after today's session, you could email Professor Hillingberg, and he will respond to your questions. And in a few minutes, we're going to be directed back to the main breakout room, or excuse me, the main room, and we'll be there waiting to learn about the guest speaker today.